John Harbaugh has been fired by the Baltimore Ravens after a disappointing 8-9 season in which the Ravens were Super Bowl favorites to enter the year and had a chance to win the AFC North in Week 18, but ultimately came up short. What is up, everybody? It is your boy ZFarm. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the John Harbaugh firing and who I would look at as the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. If you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, like this video, comment who you would want as the Ravens head coach, and let's get into this video. Now, when talking about the Harbaugh firing, you have to look at the reason why he was fired. This team entered the 2025 season as Super Bowl favorites, arguably one of the best teams in terms of roster, in terms of talent, that the Ravens have had in the Lamar Jackson era. The wide receivers were good. The defense, which was led by Kyle Hamilton, arguably had the best secondary talent on paper. And Derrick Henry was Lamar Jackson's backmate as his running back. So you would think going into this season, the Ravens were not only favorites to make the playoffs, win the AFC North, but to win the whole dang thing and win the Super Bowl. However, after a few short weeks, you noticed this team was off. The defense wasn't able to get pressure. The offense, after Lamar got hurt, looked stale. And even when Lamar came back until Week 18, just didn't look right. And things that were leading to those mistakes were not solved. Zach Orr, after having one of the worst starts in any NFL season, was not fired during the bye week in Week 7. Daniel Falele started all 17 games for the Baltimore Ravens, and he shouldn't have been on the field in the first place. The Baltimore Ravens lacked accountability, and that's something John Harbaugh was good at, was not holding any player accountable, even himself as a coach, as a man accountable for some of the mistakes he made during his tenure here. That is what led to John Harbaugh getting fired. Now, there are reports coming out that Steve Bisciotti and John Harbaugh had a one-on-one sit-down after the Week 18 loss, and one of the main topics was firing Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator. According to sources, Lamar Jackson and offense didn't like him. They didn't like Todd Monken. They didn't like how he was calling plays. They didn't like some of the stuff he was running. It just felt weird. And there was an article that came out around Week 5, Week 6 that stated these things. However, Harbaugh didn't want to fire anybody. In fact, he thought a few minor changes to the defensive coaching would have been enough. He wanted to keep everybody on offense. He wanted to keep Zach Orr as the defensive coordinator. And he wanted to add a couple of coaches into the linebackers coach. I think a secondary coach was named as well. But that was not enough. Zach Orr, after back-to-back years, needed to go. He is not ready to coach in the National Football League at the defensive coordinator position. Todd Monken, to me, was all right. Last season, he led an historic offense that had one of the best rushing attacks and, frankly, should have led to Lamar Jackson's third MVP. So, the fact that Monken's name was even involved in firings before Zach Orr, to me, is crazy. But John Harbaugh didn't want to change anything. John Harbaugh didn't want to go out of his way to change what he created. And that's what led to his firing. Steve Bisciotti said in April he wants to win now. He does not care what happens in 30 years. He wants to win a championship with the Lamar Jackson core now. And John Harbaugh was not going to do that. John Harbaugh was not going to lead this team to a Super Bowl. So the Ravens made the right decision. And frankly, wherever John Harbaugh goes, I expect the same things to happen. Especially if he were to go to New York, which he is favored and is linked to already. The New York media, let alone the fans, will eat him up. The basic answers at the press conference, the just way he acts will not fly in New York. In fact, it reminds me a lot of what Aaron Boone does for the New York Yankees, and they want him fired. So, to me, this was a good firing. It was the right firing. It happened a little too late, but better late than never. So, where do the Ravens move forward? In my personal opinion, there are 3 names to look at, 2 names I would love to see as Ravens head coach. The one name in which I'm okay with, but I don't prefer over the first 2, but I do think can happen, I think actually is probably the most likely to happen. Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. He was a Michigan guy. He's in the HARBAUGH program. He was with Mike Macdonald. I expect the Ravens to keep some sort of ties with that tree. And Jesse Minter, to me, is the closest thing to Mike Macdonald that isn't Mike Macdonald. So, I think Jesse Minter would be good. I think Brian Flores for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he would be fantastic. A guy that if Lamar Jackson or Kyle Hamilton needed to be held accountable, I think Brian Flores would do it perfectly, and he would fix the defense. Him and Jesse Minter would fix the defense. That was the main problem last season. The last couple seasons have been defense. The offense has shown up in the playoff games. They've shown up in the regular season. The defense is what's holding them back. If they got a guy like Jesse Minter, if they got a guy like Brian Flores, I would be on board. I'd also be on board with Clint Kubiak, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. We had his dad here. He won a Super Bowl here. Why not bring him in? An offensive-minded guy, a good, great offensive-minded guy with Lamar Jackson. Imagine the endless possibilities of Lamar Jackson and Clint Kubiak with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Those guys. That's what I want to see. I want to see a guy that is ready to take the next step, not only for the next 5 years, not the next 10 years, but I want a 15 to 20 year guy, just like John Harbaugh. But I want a guy that's going to win constantly, that can create a dynasty, get 2, 3 Super Bowls out of. John Harbaugh only got me 1. I want to see 2 or 3 with Lamar Jackson because he's capable of doing so. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league. Derrick Henry's a top 3 running back in this league. Zay Flowers is entering in the top 15 conversations, and the defense has Kyle Hamilton leading the charge, and he's probably the best safety in the National Football League. Not probably, is the best safety in the National Football League. So, you have a great core, you have a great foundation, you need to find the right coach. If you find the right coach, the team has endless potential. And that's what's big about this. A Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, properly led team is a scary thought. But we will see who Eric DeCosta and Steve Bisciotti pick. And I would assume Lamar Jackson is going to be involved in that discussion. He will be involved in the meetings. And I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Kyle Hamilton's involved. Your 2 best players on both sides of the ball, would not be surprised if they are involved in those conversations. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. That is my reaction to the John Harbaugh firing, and that is the 3 names I would want as Baltimore Ravens head coach for the year 2026 and beyond. If you are new to this channel and you like Baltimore sports content, hit the subscribe button down below, like this video, and comment down in the comments section who do you think should be the Baltimore Ravens head coach in 2026 and your thoughts on the John Harbaugh firing. Thanks for watching this video, and see you guys soon.